The situation in Kharkiv remains a critical flashpoint in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. While the US narrative suggests one thing, the ground reality indicates another. As the conflict progresses, the need for accurate and comprehensive reporting becomes ever more crucial to understand the true dynamics at play and to support informed decision making on the global stage. It will never come from Western news outlets. So here we are with the antidote for mass delusion.
Welcome to TFI Global, the antidote to mass delusion.
Recent reports from the United States indicate that Russia's military advance on Kharkiv has stalled following a significant policy shift. The United States has partially authorized Ukraine to use American-provided weapons to strike targets inside Russia. This update was shared by none other than Jake Sullivan, the White House National Security Advisor, during an interview on CBS, Face the Nation. Quote, Kharkiv remains under threat, but the Russians have not made significant progress on the ground in recent days. End of quote. This development comes after the US decided to allow Ukraine the use of some of its weaponry to defend the Kharkiv region, which borders Russia. Previously, there were concerns that such actions might escalate the conflict, potentially drawing NATO into direct confrontation with Russia. According to Jake Sullivan, the decision was logical from the president's perspective. He emphasized that Ukrainians should have the ability to target Russian encampments and weapons systems that are attacking them. This stance has been echoed by NATO allies, including France and Germany, who have also permitted Ukraine to utilize Western-provided arms for defensive actions in the Kharkiv region. However, the Kremlin had issued stern warnings. It had suggested that this decision could broaden the conflict in Europe, potentially involving Western allies in a direct clash with Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin had further cautioned that such actions could lead him to deploy similar Russian weapons in countries within striking distance of the US or its European allies. Kiev did a complete 360 degrees, however. From Kiev, reports emerged of intensified Russian military activity. On June 10th, Russian forces launched 3 glide bombs at Kharkiv, according to local authorities. This assault is part of a recent uptick in attacks on Ukraine's second largest city, which includes the use of missiles, glide bombs, and drones. These strikes have targeted and severely damaged critical energy infrastructure. Kharkiv Oblast Governor Olev Sinyubov reported that the Russian military conducted this strike at approximately 5:35 p.m. local time. The focus has been notably on the loss of civilian lives, drawing parallels to the tactics seen in Gaza, where civilian casualties often generate international sympathy and financial aid. So what is the reality on the ground? In essence, the situation remains tilted heavily towards Russian side. Russia has effectively encircled Kharkiv, achieving its stated objective of stretching Ukraine's defenses thin and safeguarding the Russian region of Belgorod, which has been heavily shelled by Ukrainian forces. As far as taking cities is concerned, Russian forces are making significant progress towards capturing the strategic town of Chasiv Yar. Chasiv Yar, situated on elevated terrain about 20 kilometers west of Bakhmut, is seen as a potential staging ground for further Russian advances on key Ukrainian cities like Kramatorsk and Sloviansk. Both sides of the conflict view this town as crucial for future operations. So why did the US lie? The United States' portrayal of the situation as a stalled Russian advance does not align with the on-ground realities. Russian forces are gaining ground and Ukraine faces significant challenges despite receiving substantial aid from the US and the presence of NATO troops. This discrepancy lays bare the motivations behind the US narrative. It is a strategic move to maintain public and international image of normalcy or even supremacy amidst a challenging battlefield reality. Kiev's reports were solely focused on the civilian impact of Russian strikes, much like the way Gaza reports its casualties. Kiev reports attacks to keep the funds flowing to the country. This time, it ended up exposing its biggest paymaster.